A massive ocean liner, once a symbol of luxury and grandeur, is now succumbing to the icy embrace of the North Atlantic. The ship tilts dramatically, its bow rising high into the night sky as the stern disappears beneath the churning black water. The ship's lights flicker, plunging the scene into an eerie half-light illuminated only by the pale moon and the occasional flash of a distress flare. The ocean churns, swallowing everything in its path. I sit up in bed, my hands rubbing the sleep from my eyes. The room is dimly lit by a flickering bedside lamp, casting long shadows on the polished wood walls. My legs are tangled in silk sheets, and the faint hum of the ship's engines vibrates through the floor. The air feels colder than usual, and a glass of water on the nightstand tilts slightly, catching the lamplight. I step closer to the porthole, my hands gripping the cold metal rim. Outside, the dark ocean stretches endlessly, but the horizon is unnaturally tilted. My reflection faintly appears in the glass, distorted by the frost forming at the edges. The deck below is eerily empty, lit only by the pale glow. I open the cabin door, my hand trembling slightly on the brass handle. The hallway is dimly lit, with other passengers peeking out of their doors. My slippers shuffle against the carpet as I step into the corridor, the faint sound of distant shouts and creaking metal growing louder. A steward rushes past, his face pale and tense. I grab the steward's arm, my hand visibly shaking. His uniform is wrinkled, and his breath is visible in the cold air. "What's happening?" I ask, my voice trembling. He hesitates, then says, "We've struck an iceberg. Please proceed to the lifeboats calmly." My heart pounds as I release his arm, my legs feeling unsteady. I push open the heavy door to the deck, my hands bracing against the cold metal. The scene is chaotic. Passengers in night clothes huddled together, their breath visible in the freezing air. The ship's tilt is more pronounced now, and my feet slip slightly on the wet deck. The band plays a lively tune, their instruments glinting under the deck lights. A woman grabs my arm, her fingers digging into my sleeve. "Please help me find my child," she pleads, her voice breaking. My hands tremble as I help her search, my eyes scanning the crowd. The deck lights flicker, casting long shadows across the panicked faces around us. I push through the crowd, my hands brushing against cold railings and wet coats. The lifeboats are being lowered unevenly, their ropes creaking under the strain. My feet slip on the icy deck as I reach the front, where a crew member shouts, "Women and children only." My hands clench into fists as I watch a lifeboat descend into the darkness. I help a mother lift her child into a lifeboat, my hands steadying the small boy as he clings to his mother. The lifeboat sways precariously, and the mother's eyes meet mine, filled with gratitude and fear. My hands grip the railing tightly as the boat is lowered, the icy wind biting at my skin. I step toward the lifeboat, but a crew member blocks my path, his hand pressing against my chest. "Women and children only," he barks. My hands gesture desperately as I argue, but he pushes me back, his face stern. The lifeboat descends without me, and my hands grip the railing, knuckles white. The ship lurches violently, and I grab onto a railing, my hands slipping on the wet metal. My legs dangle over the edge as the deck tilts almost vertically. Below, the icy water rises rapidly, its surface glinting under the flickering deck lights. My feet scramble for purchase, but the angle is too steep. My hands grip the railing with all my strength, my arms trembling from the effort. The ship's tilt grows steeper, and my legs dangle over the abyss. Below, the water churns violently, swallowing everything in its survivors. The lifeboats are small specks in the darkness, their lights barely visible. Hands reach down to pull me into a lifeboat, their grip firm and reassuring. My legs collapse beneath me as I'm dragged to the bench, my body shivering uncontrollably. The lifeboat is crowded with stunned survivors, their faces pale and haunted. My hands clutch a blanket wrapped around me, the faint warmth a stark contrast to the freezing night. This is the story of my experience in a sunken ship. I'm glad that I have